Hey guys, this is Alexandra from iloveknots.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make my Bobblish Scarf. That is a bobble stitch scarf. I already made the entire scarf, so I'm just going to be showing you a sample of it today. This is the front of the scarf, and the bobbles are staggered. This is what the back of the scarf looks like. It's completely flat. For my scarf, I used Red Heart Super Saver in the color Buff Fleck. Since gauge isn't essential unless the finished size is essential to you, you can use whatever worsted weight yarn you like. You could even switch it out for a chunky weight yarn to make a oversized super scarf. It's very easy to customize the length as you go as well, so you can always stop if you reach your desired size or keep adding if you want a longer scarf. I'm also using an H8 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to start with a slip knot. I'm pulling my working yarn over my fingers here, wrapping the yarn around my index finger 2 times, and then I'll hold the tension in between my middle finger and my thumb. I'll grab the loop that's on the left, pull it up over the other loop but not off my finger. Then I grab the loop that's on the left now, pull it up over the other one and off my finger. I'll take my crochet hook, insert it into the loop that's on my finger, and then you can take the yarn that's coming from the ball, hold that in your right hand, pull on the short tail end, and it will tighten your slip knot up to normal tension. Now that we have our slip knot here, we're going to chain a foundation chain, and this is going to vary depending on the size that you want. For an adult small scarf, we're going to start with a chain 24. For an adult large size scarf, we're going to start with a chain 30. You can make this scarf more narrow or wider by subtracting or adding 6 chains. Since my scarf is already finished, I'm just going to work a small sample here, and I'm going to do it with a chain of 12. To chain, we're going to yarn over our hook and pull through the loop that's on our hook. Yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. That's 2 chains. I'm going to continue on. You'll work either 24 chains for an adult small scarf or 30 chains for an adult large scarf. Now that my chains are done, we're going to work a single crochet into the second chain and each chain all the way across. We don't count this loop that's on our hook. So here we have our first chain and here's our second chain. Insert your hook into the center of the chain, yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert your hook into the center of the next chain, yarn over, pull through. We have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. And we're going to continue single crocheting all the way across. When you get to the end of this row, you're going to have 23 single crochets for the adult small size scarf, or you will have 29 single crochets for an adult large size scarf. And here's row 1. Our repeat is going to begin with row 2. For the entire scarf, we're going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. Row 2 also starts our bobbles. So we're going to start by chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet into the first 5 stitches. So we'll insert our hook into that stitch, picking up both loops, and then yarn over as normal, complete that single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we're going to bobble stitch into the next stitch. To work a bobble stitch, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That leaves us with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through. We have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That leaves us with 4 loops. We want 5 in total, so we'll do that one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through. 6 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and that leaves us with 5. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And when we do that, that leaves us with just 1 stitch right over here, and that's where we're going to work our single crochet in the next row. As soon as you work your next single crochet, the bobble stitch will take its shape. We're going to single crochet into the next 5 single crochets. And that is your repeat for this row. You're going to bobble stitch into the next stitch, single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, and when you get to the end of the row, you'll end on one of these single crochets. Row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Here you can see your bobble has taken its shape. We're going to single crochet all the way across this row. So we're just going to insert our hook into the first stitch there and complete a single crochet, and then single crochet into each stitch all the way across. And there's the end of row 3. Row 4 is going to be another bobble stitch row, and it's going to stagger them in between the ones from row 2. So for row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet into the first 2 single crochets, and then bobble stitch into the next stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There's 2 stitches on your hook. Yarn over, insert that hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches. There's 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches. Now we have 4 loops. We'll do that one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Here's where our repeat begins for this row. You're going to single crochet into each of the next 5 single crochets. And then we'll bobble stitch into the next stitch. There are 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. So the repeat is very similar to row 2, except that it's backwards. In row 2 we did bobble stitch and then 5 single crochets. For row 4 the repeat is 5 single crochets and then bobble stitch. You're going to repeat that all the way across the row until you have 2 stitches left. And once you get to that point, then you're just going to single crochet into each of those stitches. and there's row 4. For row 5, we'll chain 1 and turn. Here you can see your bobbles are now staggered. We're going to single crochet all the way across for this row. There's row 5 complete. We're going to continue for the entire scarf, repeating row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. When we end the scarf, we're going to end it on either a row 2 or a row 4. Those are bobble stitch rows. And we're going to do that so that when we work our border, it's done from the right side of the fabric, which is this side that's facing you with the bobbles facing you. When we end either on a row 2 or row 4, it will be from the back side, so that when we turn it, it'll be from this front side. I'm going to work one more of those repeats with you to go over row 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you'll work until your desired length. So for this next row, which is row 2 again, chain 1 and turn. Single crochet into the first 5 single crochets. Now we're going to begin our repeat for this row. Bobble stitch into the next stitch, single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Five loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, and now single crochet across into the next 5 stitches. And continue that repeat of bobble stitch into the next stitch, single crochet into each of the next 5 until you're across the entire row. Then we'll chain 1 and turn. The next one is the same as row 3, single crochet into each single crochet all the way across. The next row is the same as row 4. Chain 1 and turn. This is a bobble stitch row. We're going to start by working single crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then we'll bobble stitch into the next stitch. Five loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, and here's where the repeat begins for this row. Single crochet into each of the next 5 single crochets, and then bobble stitch into the next stitch. There's 5 single crochets. And now we'll bobble stitch. There's 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5. You're going to continue working that repeat all the way across, single crochet into each of the next 5 single crochets, bobble stitch into the next stitch, until you reach just 2 stitches left of the row, and then we'll single crochet into each of those 2 stitches. Then we'll chain 1 and turn, and the next row is the same as row 5, which is just single crochet all the way across. And this is what we're going to continue to repeat row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. For an adult small size scarf, you're going to work 260 rows. And for an adult large size scarf, you're going to work 304 rows. And just remember, you're going to be ending on a bobble stitch row, so either row 2 or row 4. That way the border can be worked from the right side. Go ahead and work your scarf, and when you're ready, come back here and I'll show you how to do the border. Now it's time to work the border. I have just finished working a row 4 repeat here. When we do the border, we want to end on either a row 2 or a row 4 so that the border can be worked from the right side. So I've just finished here a row 4. To start the border, we're going to single crochet into each stitch across the row here. And as I reach that last stitch, I'm working 1 single crochet into it as normal. So I've just single crocheted all the way across the row as normal. Now I'm going to add extra stitches into this last stitch to increase. We need to increase our corners so that the fabric lays flat, otherwise it curls. So to work the corner, we have our first single crochet there, then we chain 2, and single crochet back into that same exact stitch. And by adding those chains and that extra stitch, we've increased in that corner. Now we're going to rotate our fabric so we can work down the side. And when we work into these rows here, you're going to work 1 single crochet into the side edge of each row. And you're going to see 2 different types of stitches here. You're going to see this next one, which kind of looks like the top of a stitch. It's got the bottom leg down here, it's got the top leg up here, and from the top you can see that V shape. And then the next one is just this hole. And that repeats all the way across, and that's from when we turned at the end of each row. So for this next one, we're going to insert our hook into the center of that stitch, picking up 2 loops. There's 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops as normal. Then for the next one, we just insert our hook into that hole and complete a single crochet. Then the next one, we insert into the center of that edge stitch, picking up both loops there, and complete a single crochet. And then for the next one, just insert into the hole and complete a single crochet. We're going to continue working all the way across. When you get to the end of the row, not counting the very last stitch or this beginning increase, we're going to have 2 stitches less than the number of total rows that you have. So take the total number of rows that you worked minus 2 stitches for the corners, and that's how many stitches you should have down the side. And now that I have reached the very last stitch there, I'm going to increase again in this corner stitch. And to increase, we're just going to single crochet into that stitch, chain 2, single crochet back into that same stitch. And for this particular one, it's where our beginning tail is, and the hole opens up because it's not secure yet. Just hold your fabric and pull it closed. And when we weave it in, that's when it'll actually be secured in there. And we're going to rotate our fabric so we can work on the opposite side of the beginning foundation chain. And when you're working here, it's very similar to working in the top. You just insert into the next stitch. It's very easy to see. And I'm pulling my beginning tail to the back. I'm not working over it because I don't want it to be weaved in horizontally. I want it to be weaved in vertically. So I'm just dropping it. I'm not stitching over it. I'm going to sew it in later. Work single crochet as normal in each stitch all the way across here. And when you insert your hook into the chain, you're inserting it into the center, and it's picking up one leg from the next stitch and one leg from the stitch that's above your chain. But just single crochet across the row as it naturally feels. And now we've reached another corner. We're going to increase again. So single crochet into that stitch, chain 2, single crochet back into the same stitch, and then we'll rotate our fabric and work up the side. This is the last row of the border. The stitches look a little bit different on this side than they did on the other side, and that's because we're looking at, we still have one stitch that looks like a hole, and then we have one stitch that kind of looks like the other one, except it's from the back side. So the very first stitch we're going to see here is a hole. We're going to single crochet into that. The next one will be one that looks like a stitch, and you're just going to insert it right into the center. You have your bottom leg down here, your back bump here, and your top leg up there. Just insert into the center, in between the back bump and the bottom leg, and you're still going to be picking up 2 stitches on your hook. Yarn over and complete your single crochet. Then the next one is just a hole, and then the next one looks like a stitch, so we'll just insert it right into the center, picking up both loops that are on the top on my hook, and complete a single crochet. And you're just going to continue working all the way up. You're going to have the same number of stitches on this side as you did on the first side. And then when we get to the very first stitch up here, we're going to work 1 single crochet into that same stitch, chain 1, not chain 2 here, just chain 1 because our join counts as a chain. Then we insert our hook into that very first stitch, picking up both loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through that stitch and the loop that's on our hook. That is a slip stitch join, and now we can fasten off. To weave in my ends, I'm going to need a tapestry needle. I have pulled up a big loop here so that I don't lose that stitch, and then I'm just going to fasten off this yarn here so that I can sew it in. If my scissors will cut. Then I'm going to take that loop and pull it up so that it breaks the loop, and I'll thread that end into my tapestry needle. This is the yarn that we fastened off at the end. I'm just going to insert my hook into that first stitch that we slip stitched to, insert it underneath both loops, and pull the needle out through the back side, because that's where I'm going to weave in my ends, on the back side. Then I'll flip it over, and I'm going to weave vertically here. I don't weave horizontally in this case because it will bunch up the fabric and restrict any width-wise stretch. But if I weave it here vertically, it won't have an effect on it. So I'm going to insert my hook into a nearby stitch, and when I do that, I'm not going to pick up the whole entire stitch. This is picking up the whole stitch. I don't want to pick up the whole stitch. I want to break the stitch in half by inserting into the center of it. And this is going to help catch my yarn so that it's more secured. Then I'm going to weave under several stitches, and when I come out, I'm also going to break that stitch in half. And then I'll pull through. And I don't want to pull too tight because it will distort the shape up here on the top, so I'm going to just use my fingers to pull it out and take the shape that I want. Then I'll go back to the wrong side, and I'm going to flip it so I can work a return pass. I'm going to insert into a nearby stitch. I always break it in half on when I insert it and when I exit. So I'm breaking it in half. I'm going underneath the same stitches that I just worked, and then I'm coming out on the other side. And I'll pull through. And I work 3 passes. That's the number that I'm most comfortable with. So I'm going to rotate it again, insert into a nearby stitch, under the same stitches I just worked, and come out on the other side. And then I'll just tug on it to take its shape, and then I'll fasten off that yarn. Guess I need some new scissors. Then we'll go down to this bottom one. This is our initial tail end. Thread that tail end into my tapestry needle. And I'm also going to weave this end in vertically. Just go into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half, work up several stitches, breaking the other side in half as well. And I'll work 3 passes the same way. And I always use my fingers to pull out the shape. I don't want it to bunch up and take a weird shape. There's my 3rd pass, and now I can fasten that off. And that's how you weave in the ends. And now here we have our finished scarf. You'll find the written pattern for this at iloveknots.com in 4 sizes. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.